And yan, good afternoon mga kapatid. Sound check ko lang muna yung aking microphone. If indeed I have a microphone dito sa ating lecture. So this is for all the sections of second years under this subject, CMP. So this is for all of you. This is your offline lesson this week. So di ba twice tayo mag-meet? Once is for your online live and the other one is for your offline para hindi naman haggard na online na lang lagi. Ganon. So this one you can listen anytime. And mind you lang kapag halimbawa nag-post ako ngayon, check nyo kaagad sa ating YouTube channel para makita niyo kaagad kung meron tayong bago. Like for example na lesson. Pero ipopost ko pa rin naman sa inyong mga FB groups. Pero yung iba, check nyo na lang lagi. Ganun. Baka kasi hindi nag-notify sa inyo yung notification sa FB group. Maraming estudyante nag-send sa akin ng message na ganun yung situation last semester and last summer. Na hindi daw nag-notif. Kaya yon. So, okay, this will be our next lesson after ng ating live discussion. So, tapos ko na lahat ng sections ng second year under this subject sa kanilang live online discussion. Saka ko na lang ipopost itong ating, what do you call this? Offline discussion. Ayan. So, in here, we are going to tackle about yung mga pinagawa kong activity number 1 para sa ibang sections and activity number 2 para sa ibang sections. So, mind you, kapag nagbibigay ako ng activities, hindi kayo pare-parehas lahat ng activity. So, this was the question sa inyong activity earlier. Kaya hindi ko agad diniscuss because I'd like to ask every section in this second year. What is policing? Itong tatlo na nandito sa ating slide it came from 3 different ideologies or 3 different books actually ito. Kasi iba-iba yung ating iba-iba yung kanilang pag-describe ng policing. So, kailangan nating tignan yung kanilang mga salient features. Are they all the same? Do they have the same topic or are they in the same wavelength in defining this policing? And so, let's take a look. Yung first, sabi dito, policing, these are activities that are carried out by police officers in order to preserve law and order. I've underlined yung preserve law and order kasi ito daw yung the act of na ginagawa ng mga police officers. Ganyan. So, pag sinabi kong policing, this is an act or it is an action that is done by police officers. And actually, they do this in public places. And so they do that in order to preserve law and order. So that is the first definition. So let's take a look at the second one. These are actions as well of a person, an individual, or a group in authority, like for example, an organization, an association, to ensure fairness or equality and also legality. This is also in public places or in areas of public life. So kung kanina, preserve law and order, dito naman, ensure fairness and legality. Ayan. Magkaiba yan, pero the same pa rin yung kanilang patutunguhan. And both yung first and second definition, they also are applicable to public places or public life. And the third one states that it is an act of supervising or it is mainly supervising or enforcing rules. Ayan. So sa first word na supervising, this means managing. This could mean managing. This could mean looking after the enforcing of rules. So ayan. So let's take for example yung security guard. Si Manong Secu sa ating school. He is assigned by the institution, ayan, the group in authority, which is the institution of our school. He is assigned to patrol our school and the area of our school and make sure that everyone follows the rules. Like for example, no, dakay tayo eskwela, yung simple lang mga nakasuot ng ID, mga ganon. Ayan, so that is an act of policing the area and also supervising kung na-enforce nga ba yung rules and regulations ng ating school? So, ayan, hindi man sila magkakatulad na 100%, they have their own definitions. Kaya nilagay ko yung tatlong yan from 3 different books, sabi ko nga. Kasi magkakaiba yung definitions nila, pero the same naman yung wavelength. Ganon. So that is policing. I hope you understood that. Okay. Yung policing natin, meron din siyang timeline. Parang yung diniscuss natin earlier sa ating live discussion, that is also history of policing sa ating community era. Dito sa policing, meron din silang timeline. Yan. So, pero i-introduce muna natin kung ano yung timeline ng ating policing. Or it's a little bit of background. Yan. Trace lang natin konti from where did we start, and let's compare yung mga ancient or earlier forms of policing. We start our policing in early 3000 BCE, before Christ, yung BC. And then yung pinag-start natin na country is we start in Egypt. Egypt is known for their history, rich history, not only in policing, they're also rich in the history of spying. In relation to criminology lang yung mga ano natin na and also in the form of medical things or yung mga related sa medical legal. Like for example, yung mga poison, ganyan. So rich din sila sa history niyan. And also it was where hindi naman masasabing sila lang, pero sila yung parang pinakauna na nagpakita ng style ng kanilang policing. Kaya dito yung first policing organization. It was where this first policing organization was created. This was in Egypt. Ganyan. So yung Egypt before, it was divided into 42 administrative jurisdictions. Or let's take it into simpler words, 42 jurisdictions. Ganyan. So, each jurisdiction, merong naka-appoint dyan na head nila, an appointed official, which oversees the entire the entire justice and security of that jurisdiction. Ayan. May assistant nga lang itong si appointed official at ang tawag sa assistant niya is the chief of police. Ayan. So yung chief of police during this time is not the head of the force or nung isa sa mga jurisdiction. Ang head dito was an appointed official. Assistant na lang yung yung ating chief of police. Ayan. So during this time sa Egypt, si Pharaoh Hormoheb, this is one of the long-reigning pharaohs in Egypt. So ayan, before yung kanyang jurisdiction, isa sa kanyang mga police organizations ay binigyan niya ng task. And this special task is to safeguard the Nile River. I'll show you the map later on of this Nile River in Egypt. And they were responsible for mainly preventing piracy, guarding commerce, and searching for suspected ships doon sa Nile River. Let's take a look into the map of Egypt and let's see why. So this one is biblical. Ayan. So, but anyway, this was Egypt. This is Egypt, hindi siya was. This is Egypt. So as you can see, Nile River crosses through the entire Egypt. So dito binabantayan ng isa sa mga police organizations ng Pharaoh yung river. It is to prevent piracy. Yung presence of pirate ships. You know what pirate ships do, correct? They just land into a place to rob maybe or to usually kumukuha sila ng mga kayamanan and then they take it. So one of the police organizations of Pharaoh is to safeguard this Nile River against yung mga pirate ships. And also yung suspected ships, this is parang medyo related to yung suspect ships na sinasabi is yung mga kahina-hinala na ships. Usually yung mga dumadaan dito are commercial ships. That's why they are also guarding the commerce or yung business na nangyayari around Egypt. Ito yung pinaka-main nila, source nila nung kanilang exchange of commercial between other places such as yung mga katabing countries nila, ganyan. So may mga pumapasok din dito ng mga suspected ships na pwedeng mag-import or mag-export sa Egypt ng mga illegal cargoes, ganyan. So yan yung mga tatlong binabantayan nung ating police organizations earlier during this time, in the time of Pharaoh Hermoheb. Yan. And after Egypt, we fly to Greece. So yun lang yung style ng policing nila doon sa Egypt. They were divided into 42 jurisdictions, and under the jurisdictions, they were headed by an appointed official. And also the Pharaoh, one of the police organizations of the Pharaoh, one of those 42 was specifically assigned to do this one, guard the Nile River. And so from Egypt, I said, we fly to Greece in the Greek islands. So policing duties in here naman were assigned to magistrates. Yung mga magistrates naman na ito, they cannot solely perform the policing duties. Ang laki naman ng Greece, di ba? Kung halimbawa may 10,000 magistrates, it's not enough, for example, to safeguard Greece. O hindi naman ganun, hindi pwedeng ganun karami ang magistrates nila. I don't think so. So siguro may mga 20 lang na magistrates. So, you know, you can just imagine 20 doing policing duties, it's not enough. So they have to rely also on the power or on the services of the military of Greece. Pero yung during these times kasi medyo rampant ang war in those parts of the world. Yung mga part ng Europe banda, tsaka yung mga Eurasia banda, yung mga borders. Diyan rampant yung war. So diyan nagagamit yung military. So yung military during this time in Greece, they cannot help 100% in the policing duties or in enforcing the rules. Ganyan. Parang nakaka-help lang sila kahit konti. Pero ang main na kanilang responsibility is to safeguard the security of the entire nation or entire Greece. Ganyan. Kaya yung mga magistrates, they have to look for other means for them to be able to enforce their policing duties effectively. Ayan. So, kumuha ngayon sila ng mga slaves. So, where did these Scythian slaves came from? When Greece went into war against other countries like like Persia, like Rome, ganyan, may mga naiiwan na slaves. So, they purchased those slaves at sila yung ginagawa nilang katulungan in enforcing their policing duties. So, pinakamain ng mga trabaho ng mga nakukuha nilang mga slaves na ginagawa nilang, you know, quote-unquote, police officers is to maintain peace and order, ganyan. Lalong-lalo sa public gatherings or sa public markets in times of gatherings sa mga plaza ng Greece. So, yan pinaka-mainly yung pag-enforce ng policing duties ng mga tao dito, ay mga police officers under the leadership of the magistrates. Ayan. So that is in Greece. Let's take a look into, parang ano lang naman to, sample picture. So ito yung mga Scythian slaves. So this is what they do. So after they were purchased, ayan, binigyan sila ng clothing, a little bit of weapon, in order for them to enforce their policing duties in the streets of Greece. Okay. So from Greece, let's fly to Italy. Ganyan. Medyo malayo. But in some books, they do not really mention Italy, okay? They just mention Rome. But it's the same because Rome is the capital of Italy. But anyhow, dito naman sa Rome, they are still in war with other nations, such as yun nga, sabi ko, Greece and other nations during this time. Yung mga medieval times, masyado silang nag-war. Ayan. So in here also, in Rome, they have their own policing duties or policing responsibilities to enforce sa kanilang citizens. Ayan. So nagkukulang din sila nung kanilang mga police operatives, quote-unquote. Pag sinasabi kong quote-unquote, mga kapatid, lawakan nyo na lang konti yung pag-uunawan nyo. It's not sinabi, or this is not a direct quotation na sinabi, ha. It's a quote-unquote. Parang implemented, ganun yung sinasabi ko. So dito, during those times, they also have parang kulang. Meron silang kakulangan sa pagkakaroon ng kanilang officership for them to enforce yung policing dun sa loob mismo ng Rome. So, kumukuha din sila ng mga slaves. So, slaves from war or yung mga citizens nila of low birth. In Rome, medyo malaki kasi yung agwat ng mga noble by birth tsaka yung mga wala lang by birth, gano'n. Yung mga low birth na sinasabi is yung wala silang significant na rank sa society or yung family nila, ganyan. Sa pinaka-bottom na sila ng ladder, kumbaga sa classification ng citizens sa kanilang place. So yun, yung mga kinukuha to become police operatives. Also, yung mga freedmen or yung mga nakalaya or pwedeng ex-con, may mga criminal past sila. Sila usually yung mga kinukuha na police operatives to enforce the style of policing Rome has during these times. So, usually yung city of Rome during this time, and it said they have nearly 1 million people. Maliit lang ang Italy, ang Rome, the Rome city. Pero yung nearly 1 million people during those times, medyo marami na yon. So, syempre, may mga gulo na nangyayari, may mga petty crimes naman. So, these people who are recruited na maging police operatives para mag-enforce ng mga laws and regulations, doon sila pinapakawalan sa streets of Rome. Usually to, call for peace and order. Ganyan. And also, Augustus, one of the great generals of Rome during these times, during this war, he created 3 cohorts of police, 3, how do you term it in Ilocano? Kaslang nga ginadogad-wana da jay. Kaslang talo nga style iti police. Ganyan. So, part of these cohorts were placed under the command of the army, under the command of the urban prefects. Ibig sabihin, under the command of the of the laws of the people. Ganyan. So, these cohorts in turn, kapag kailangan nila itong mga to is to safeguard the emperor, for maybe travel, for public appearances, ayan, ganyan yung ginagawa ng isang part nung cohort na yan, which Augustus, as I've said, siya yung nag-divide sa grupo ng kanilang police operatives. Let's take a look in these 3 cohorts. Ayan, sample lang ito ng 3 cohorts. I have yet to read if this is really yung tatlong cohorts. So yung first image na nakikita niyo mga kapatid is yan yung isang cohort that actually safeguards or goes around the city of Rome para mag-instill ng peace and order. Ganyan. And then yung second picture is the one that usually guards the palace of the emperor. Yan yung mga nasa, what do you call this? Borders, ganyan. Para makita agad nila if there are enemies coming inside the city of Rome. So sila yung mga nandun sa borders. And this third picture, I think, and I hope your guess is as good as mine, na ito yung mga usually nag-accompany sa emperor when the emperor travels. And also, there are those ones that go to war. Ayan. So, ito yung mga nakikigera for the city of Rome. So, yan yung 3 cohorts na ginawa ni Augustus. Yan yung sa policing style ng ancient city of Rome. So, yan. And also after nating pumunta sa Italy, let's fly to England. Clarification lang, England is different from the United Kingdom. They are 2 different countries, so do not confuse these ones, okay? This is in England, and during these times, these are the times usually of the Anglo-Saxon times. One of the best and one of the worst times ng war in the medieval era. One of the worst times because this is the time, or these are the times where a lot of people, good men, have died in here. And best times because this is the era where there are a lot of great warriors that evolved. Ayan. So, the earliest policing system of England was community-based. Kung maalala nyo earlier, yung live online discussion natin about the community policing era, dito makikita ka agad sa England yung a little bit of that style, yung community policing era, because their policing was community based, and implied collectively. Ayan. So, kasama parang kasali yung buong peopling ng England sa kanilang policy. So, they have this Saxon franc pledge, or simply let's take it as franc pledge system. 30 seconds, mga kapatid. Ayan, so okay, nice. May inayos lang ako. Let's go back to our discussion. Ayan. So in this sense, let's just take it na franc pledge system. But it's called officially as Saxon franc pledge system. Okay, so yung franc pledge system na ito, kailangan na yung isang family, kapag meron kang male or meron kang anak na male na bata sa inyo, is that he needs to join 10 other kids so that you will form a group that is called tithing. Ayan. So 10 families. Kung halimbawa, kayong mga meron sa inyong family, yung isang bata na lalaki, kailangan niyang mag-join dun sa other kids from other families to form a group that is called tithing. And they will have a leader that is called tithing man. Ganyan. So 10 kayo doon. And then kayo naman, mag-group pa kayo into 100. Diba? So halimbawa, 10 kayo sa isang tithing. Ngayon naman, mag-group pa kayo into 100. So 10 yun na tithing. So 10 kids in one tithing times 10 tithing. So 100 na yun. Ngayon, yung mga 100 na group na yun, they are already a group that is headed or that is led by 100 man. Yung grupo na yon. So, okay, malin to ha. So, 10 kayo sa isang tithing. Ang leader nyo ang tawag, tithing man. Ngayon, mag-join pa kayo sa ibang tithings. So, kanya-kanyang tithing man yan. 10 tithing men. Tapos, ililid pa kayo ng isa pa ulit na tao. At ang tawag sa kanya ay 100 man. And this 100 man will serve as the administrator. Nag-i-administer siya ng rules and regulations within yung inyong force. And then, he will also be the judge kapag may nagkamali or may nagawang crime, yung member ng inyong grupo. Yung grupo na ito is ang tawag dito is 100. So tithing, so from tithing na 10, pupunta kayo sa 100, that's of course 100. Ayan. Tapos yung 100 pa na yan, i-group pa ulit yan, madadagdagan pa ulit kayo. Like for example, isang 100 man na group, o isang 100 na group, tapos isa pa, i-group kayo together. Ang tawag naman dun sa group na yun is shire. Ngayon naman, papamahalaan yan ng sheriff. Yung shire. At yung katumbas ng shire in the United States, because this is England, ang katumbas nito is yung sheriff ng United States. But in the United States, yung sheriff kasi konti lang yung people niya, di ba? Yung under niya na police operatives. Pero magka-rank sila, kumbaga, during those times. So, ayan. Okay. So, yung franc pledge system at saka yung tithing man system was initially from King William. King William is not actually from England. He is a conqueror of England. So, when they conquered England, he instituted yung franc pledge system or the Saxon franc pledge system para what do you call this? Para maidagdag or tapno ngay kumaamin tay community kat agbalin nga conscious iti policing system. Tapno amuda amin iti policing system. Ngayon yung sinasabi ko kanina na every family must pledge. That is the word na hinap ko kanina. You have to pledge one male from your family. Pag nag-age 12 na yan pataas, automatic mag-pledge na yan sa army which is called tithing, ganyan. If you watched medieval movies, like for example, King Arthur, and other movies, meron yan na nakikita, di ba, yung mga kids na kinukuha to be sent into the army of these times para mag-training, para maging either in the army or maging police operatives ng kanilang lugar. That is the idea of the franc pledge system. Ayan, pahapiar lang nating tignan kung paano yung style ng society and others during this time. So, yung England din is one of the kingdom that has rules across the country. Actually, hanggang ngayon naman, maraming na-invade ang England. If you can see their flag, medyo marami-raming na-invade na country din ang England. Or if you can see their history, I mean, ayan. So yung England became one of the rulers and also as invaders. And during those times, usually yung kanilang crimes ay medyo low rate or medyo hindi ganun kaseryoso yung mga crimes na nangyayari. Kasi nandito yung mga ano tawag doon? Nandito yung mga yung frank pledge system nga nila. So it is the people that also guards their community. So konti lang yung crime. Siguro yung mga petty crimes lang nila is simple na pickpocket, ganyan, simple na yung away kalye, ganyan, gulong kalye, mga ganon. And their trials, pag-isahin natin itong trials and punishment. Yung trials nila was usually conducted by the church courts or yung mga namamahala sa kanilang church. And yung mga gumagawa ng crimes, yung mga nahuhuli nila, yung mga violators, they were judged according to their moral turpitude. Ganyan. Hindi siya courtroom talaga. So like for example, yung adultery, concubinage, siguro kasama dito, ganyan. Tapos yung sa punishment naman, they still have those types of capital punishment. So as the years go by, nagpo-progress yung England, nag-i-increase din yung pagiging punishable ng mga crimes nila. And one example of this capital punishment is death by hanging or death by fire. That is one of those capital punishments during these times. And also they have imposed fines and compensations. Ganyan, yung mga fines nila is usually kapag nag-violate ka, halimbawa, ang ifa-fine mo is yung mga kayamanan, mga gold, mga kumbaga ganun. Pero dito, unti-unti na nilang tinatanggal yung pagkakaroon ng fines and compensation ngayon. And they also still, during these times, they instill yung corporal punishments sa mga minor crimes. Like for example, kapag ikaw ay nahuli na nagnanakaw, parang theft, yung kaso mo. Tapos, pumunta ka sa trial, sa tribunal nila, sa church. Tapos, yung corporal punishment is that parang ordeal by the boiling water. Mga ganun. Ganun yung style ng kanilang corporal punishments. Kasi nga naman, medyo minor crimes lang yan. And ito yung policing style during this one is the teasing. Yun nga yung paggrupo-grupo ng mga bata o ng mga kalalakihan which are aged 12 and up. And this hue and cry. Yung, I hope you have tackled this in some of your subjects also. Yung hue and cry is that meron siyang, I'll give you an example. Here in the Cordilleras, we have this small house where in the elders meet up. This is called the Pai. And whenever they have a meeting to tackle some issues, usually it is to parang mag-trial sila, quote unquote, about something that happened in the community. Yan, hue and cry. One will go to this place to call for the others through shouting. Ganyan. So they still practice this one nowadays, lalo sa mga far-flung areas here in the Cordilleras. Ganyan. And also in this policing style nila, yung church has the authority over a person na pwedeng na magtatago dun sa church. Like for example, you have committed a crime, tapos pwede kang mag-sought ng sanctuary or mag-sought ng refuge sa church. Tapos doon sa church, pwede ka nilang ampunin ng 40 days. Yung sa mga namamahala sa church. And in here also, parang ano tawag yun? Alagaan ka nga, pero bagbagaan ka dito church during those times ng 40 days. Ganyan. So pwede kang mag-sought agad ng refuge doon. And while you are there, the police officers cannot just catch you or cannot just arrest you. Ayan. So 40 days na nandun ka, pinagsasabihan ka about moral turpitudes, ganyan ng mga nandun sa church na yun. So after which, they will take into consideration if you are to be handed sa kanilang police officers or you will be sent back to your community. O, diba? This is during the, this is also in England. Okay. So yung front pledge method natin is hindi masyadong nawala kaagad nung no, nako-conquest na yung England. So nakakonquer na siya nung ibang mga conquerors, as I have said, war yan. So nakakonquer na yung England. Nung nakita yung mga conquerors from Normandy, or they're called Normans, yung front pledge system is hindi nila inabolish. Parang pinalitan lang nila yung style. Let's go back a little bit. In here, sabi ko nga, yung parang pinakamataas na namamahala sa mga teachings, sa mga ginawa nilang police officers is the Shire Reeve, correct? Nung makonquer ito ng mga Normandies or Normans from Normandy, pinalitan lang naman nila yung namamahala. So nag-assign sila ngayon, nag-designate sila ngayon ng person na mag-hold siya ng public office, at ito yung tinawag nilang constable, which is from the French word constable. Ayan. So ito yung higher form of authority instead of the original na Shire Reeve. Yan. So from England, let's fly to France. Ayan. So French surgeons, ito naman yung mga nag-enforce ng kanilang policing duties dito sa France. Surgeons is sergeants or sargento in English. This is just a French word on the French spelling as well. And so, in Western Europe, nauna yung France na magkaroon ng official na police force. Hindi na sila yung parang kinuha lang sa slavery, kinuha lang sa mga low class of the community, ganyan. So, nagkaroon sila ng official na police force. Meron silang sariling yung hiring of this police force, and they were given these blue uniforms, ganyan, during their policing duties. So they had their camp in Paris, France, ganyan. And then they have a certain objective. So yung objective nila is to make the streets of Paris and the whole of France peaceful by day and night. And also yung traffic or the normal movement of the cars should be very good, or it flows nicely. Hindi dapat magkaroon ng mga traffic jams. Yan yung isa sa mga gawain or policing duties ng mga French surgeons. Also to clean the streets and to supervise yung mga, kung may halimbawa may mga accidents, ganyan. And also parang to maintain peace and order kahit saang place, kahit saang public place doon sa France. So yan yung policing styles or policing duty naman ng France during this times. And so from France, balik tayo sa England. Lipad ulit tayo. So sa ating nabanggit na mga what do you call this? Sa ating nakita sa early England, this was until the 11th century. Tignan nyo ha, 10th to 11th century yung diniscuss natin kanina before we flew to France, and then we go back to England. This is already from 16th to 19th century. So, fast forward ngayon. Nagkaroon ng pagbabago sa policing styles ng England. Because during these times naman, yumayaman na siguro yung mga tao, ganyan. Nagkakaroon na ng mga magnanakaw. So halimbawa, ninakawan mo ako ng gold. I will hire someone na itong someone na to is nag-enforce siya ng policing sa community. I can just hire him to take what you have taken from me. Parang, ikaw ay ako. Halimbawa ako, mag-hire ako ng magnanakaw para nakawin sa'yo yung ninakaw mo sa akin, para ibalik niya sa akin. Ganyan. Ganon yung resort nung style nung policing dito, ganyan. So, yung mga person, parang yung mga nagiging reliable na sila dun sa mga quote-unquote police officers nung England during these times to protect them and protect their property. Ganyan. Tapos meron din yung mga bounty hunters, mga private citizens na you can just reward with something precious, or you can just give money to para gumawa sila nung something para sa'yo. Like yung sinabi ko kanina is to steal something that was stolen from you to be returned to you. So naging ganyan yung style ng policing during these times or during these centuries dun sa England. Okay. So let's also take into consideration yung basic concepts sa policing. This is also during the earlier times. So ano ba yung mga concepts ng policing ng mga kapanahunang ito? Ayan. So, dalawa yung concept ng ating police service. Yung old concept and the modern concept. Gusto kong tawagin new concept ito, but modern era, so modern concept. But let's take a look on how they are different and meron ba silang pagkakatulad. Sa old concept, ang very main idea nito is iron fist or iron hand. Ganyan. Yung kapulisan in this one is not really pro-people, kundi repressive machinery lang siya. Like for example, sa community natin, may mga, kahit mga konti-konting mga crime lang. Ayan. They will throw you kaagad sa jail or hindi ka pa man lang nalilitis, nasa jail ka na, ganyan. So yung concept ng ito, or yung idea ng old concept na to is that punishment everywhere for the police officers or in order for the police officers to instill crime control or to instill peace and order, ganyan. So punish lang yan sa old concept. Sabi ko nga iron hand, ganyan. So efficient daw yung mga police kapag nakakagawa sila ng madaming arrest. Okay, so let's take into modern concept naman. Dito sa modern concept is, hindi man siya masyadong kabaliktaran or it's not the exact opposite of old concept. Kasi dito sa modern concept, they still catch criminals or they still put criminals into jail. Yan. Ang kaibahan nga lang nito, meron silang ibang aspect kapag yung criminal ay pinupunta nila sa kulungan. Ang gusto nila is ma-reform yung tao na yon. Kaya meron na silang mga social services even for those incarcerated in prisons. Hindi kagaya sa old concept. Makulong ka lang. In sa modern concept, makulong ka man, meron pa rin silang objective for you. Para ma-reform ka, para makapag-aral ka ng ibang things while you are under incarceration. So yung efficiency ng mga police dito is gusto nilang maging absent yung crime. Maging example yung mga nakakulong dun sa mga nasa labas. Para yung crime is hindi na nila kailangang gawin or hindi na nila uulitin. Ganon. So nakita niyo yung pagkakaiba. And also they are the same because both concepts would still send criminals into prison. Pero magkaiba lang yung kanilang style of imprisonment, tsaka magkaiba yung kanilang approach sa mga imprisoned people. And also there are theories of police service. So there are two fundamental theories of police service. Let's take a look how they are different and if there are similarities as well. Huwag kayong malilito ha. Yung isa kanina, concept, yung ideas ng police service. It is focusing on the ideas of police service. Ito naman, theory ng police service. Ito yung, let's take into consideration yung continental theory. Dito sa continental theory, yung mga police people or police officers are serving the higher authorities. Bigay ako ng example. Like for example, in the province of Ilocos Norte, yung mga kapulisan nagsiserve lang sila sa mga higher authorities like your governor probably. They are serving Governor Matthew lang. Parang ganun. And yung mga tao sa Ilocos Norte is they do not share or hindi sila yung parang boss ng mga kapulisan, kundi nga yung higher ups lang. It is not pro-people. Itong continental theory din. Ganyan. So this theory is, common amongst countries like France, Italy, Spain. Because in here kasi sa mga country na nabanggit na to, meron pa rin sila nung monarchy that they are headed by queens and kings. Kaya yung mga police officers dito, they serve yung mga higher authorities doon sa monarchy. Kaya yan yung kanilang sinusunod. And in this continental theory, centralized yung pattern ng kanilang or yung pagbibigay ng directions or yung structure ng kanilang kapulisan. So like for example, pinakamataas is the king and queen. And then yung susunod yung prime minister, mga ganon. Tapos susunod na yung mga ibang boss nila and then the police organization. So centralized naman yung kanilang structure. Sa continental theory, yun nga lang, the police officers serve mostly the higher ups. Yan sa continental theory. Dito naman sa home rule theory, police officers are considered servants of the community or pro-people. Ganyan. Kapag dito sa home rule theory is mas binibigyan nila ng consideration yung what do you call this? Yung the benefit para sa community, hindi nung mga higher ups. Ganyan. So may mga civil employees sila na sumumpa to preserve peace and order, peace and security doon sa country, and that is for the people of that country or community. Ito yung pinapractice ng United States. Of course, US is, one of those known countries na marami sa kanila yung mga pro-people din. Karamihan sa kanilang police are the pro-people. Dito naman, decentralized yung structure ng ating kapulisan. So, meron yung division. Kung halimbawa, yung state of Florida is different from the structure ng mga policemen sa state of New York, state of California, or state of Texas, magkakaiba yung structure nila, hindi sila iisang sumasagot kung halimbawa sa president or kay President Biden. Sasagot sila sa chief nung certain state na yon. Ganun. So, decentralized yung style ng kanilang government structure para sa pagsunod sa utos para sa kapulisan. Ayan. So, I hope you understood yung theories ng ating police service, the continental and the home rule, and this concept ng police service, the old and the modern or the new concept. Ganyan. So, pinag-aaralan natin earlier, ano nga ba yung police policing, ganyan. I hope nakuha nyo na itong i-discuss earlier in your other subjects where the police word came from. This actually came out in our board exam when I took the board exam before, that the word police is a Greek word, politeia. It means government of a city. So yung politeia na yun, kapag police ka, you are supposed to be the government of the city or you are the watchdog of the city. Your policing duties should be for the city or for the government, hindi against. Ganyan. So yan yung ibig sabihin daw nung word na politeia, wherein the word police and policy came from. So, ayan. I just included this one. The medieval times na bus. Yan, style lang ng polician and policing na styles yung mga yan. So, after this discussion, ang susunod natin i-discuss next week para sa ating live online discussion again is globalization. We will tackle globalization. What is this? What are those that are included in this? And does it affect policing of our country and the different countries also? Sa globalization, learn tayong mag-compare ng mga policing duties, policing styles ng iba't ibang country, and how globalization has affected this country. Ayan. So mga kapatid, for this discussion, offline discussion, I will set you free muna from activities. So no activities for this one. But you have to watch this video because yung mga diniscuss ko dito, i-include ko sa exam, of course. Kahit walang activity. Ayan. If you have questions though, mga kapatid, kindly lang dun sa, kindly sa ating, what do you call this? Comment box to please key in your questions in the comment box. Kapag mga questions kayo about this one, and then I'll go back at it, and then I'll answer your questions next meeting that we are going to go live on our discussion. And of course, don't forget, after watching this video, key in your names in the comment box, plus your section. Ayan. To tell you why, or to tell you baka sinasabi nyo, apay agad attendance campaign lang ngayon. Yung mga link ng aming mga discussions were sent to our higher ups for them to review kapag kayo ay nag-a-attend. Kasi may mga estudyanteng nagrereklamo na, bagsak na ako, nagbaba-grade ko kastoy man. Yan, ito yun. Diba sabi ko earlier, during my orientation in our subject, I check attendance during discussions. Offline man yan or online, okay? So after watching, key in your names, family names first, capital letters may request, capital letters, and also include your section. Pag wala kayong section, I will not be looking for your sections, okay? So yan lang ang ating offline discussion. See you next week, second years, and have a good day. Ciao!